Hey guys, welcome to today's video. Today we got a special video where one of the subscribers wanted me to take a look at the new remake of Dragon Quest. So with that, I figure we'll jump right into it and do this today. We're going to start with Dragon Quest 1, see how this one is, and then next week we'll do part 2. Alright. Oops. Create a new log. I had to make sure that this would run. We are playing a Switch version of the game. Alright, we're going to do English. Do we want to display the location of your current objective on the map? Let's know. Already vast different than the original. Let's see, we can go for very basic, normal, or fewer experience. That just means more grinding. That doesn't necessarily mean a better experience, I don't think. I think the middle ground is probably going to be the best gaming experience regardless. When you have to just completely grind longer for no real added benefit just to make the game supposedly harder, it's not going to be harder, it's just going to be longer. Alright, we've got auto-saving, a feature not done in any of the other ones. So I'm hoping this emulator works well for doing a good frame rate.
A great darkness threatens this world. Left unchecked, it will swallow it entirely. It may already be too late. Nevertheless, perhaps you, son of Erdrick, might prevail. Please, you must make full Tantra. You must do all that you can. The fate of the world rests with you.
Interesting. What? I mean, they added a lot to this game. Besides the fact that it just looks amazing. They definitely added a huge intro that wasn't in the original, obviously. We won't be skipping anything. I'm interested to see what's going on here. Love the spell sound. I can yet fight. Slimes, magidrakes, skeletons, a mage. Damn. We just walked in there and just whooped up. You know what's kind of funny about this is that our main... we come in there and wipe out tons of enemies right off the bat, but yet when we go to actually play the game, we don't do that anymore. We're back to being level 1 starter things, which is kind of funny. To do something like this, and then to all of a sudden we're not powerful anymore, just doesn't really add to the narrative, I don't think. I mean, they were mostly slimes and magidrakes, like, not the strongest things out there. Hold thy tongue, and I just start to. I love how they went very old timey all of a sudden. Like all the other games, even the newest ones, don't talk like this at all, which is quite funny. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I do appreciate it. It's just funny that this is like the only game in the series, and the only in the remake. They don't really talk like this that much, even in the original. But in this one. They go ham on it, which I like. It's fun. I'm not complaining in any stretch of the imagination. Which tendeth the dwelling place of that foul demon who did appear, as if from nowhere, that leads the fiends against us. The Dragon Lord. It was always funny that, like, the starting part, and then you can literally see the castle you're going to fight the last boss in, like, from the get-go. All you had to do was, like, swim across and you could just go to town, but instead you're running all over the place just to end up back. I mean, I have to say, complete overhaul. Like, this isn't even like a slight upgrade kind of thing. This is like they did the game from the ground up. Like, they changed the entire game. I'm wondering how much of the game is actually here. And, like, how much liberties they actually took. So that's what we're going to look at right now. I wonder, because I'm recording and doing all this stuff, that it's slowing down the the frame rate. Because when I tested it out earlier, it was running fine. The downsides of having a slightly older PC that I built quite a while ago. Just nothing's really justified actually buying a new one or building a new one, so we've been running this thing and it's showing its age. But I feel like we'll still get a good sense of the game, regardless if it is a little slow or not. But I apologize now if it does run a little choppy. I'm hoping it doesn't. But this is going to be the most intense parts of the game.
It seemeth thou art a warrior of great skill. We have long awaited the coming of one such as thee. But Captain did relate to me the tale of how thou didst best a whole horde of fiends single-handedly, and did thereby deliver he and his comrades from peril. And not only this, but thou art of the bloodline of mighty Erdrick. Is this true?
Then thou knowest, of course, the legend of thine ancestors' deeds.
Wow, they actually have a voice acting in this. Like, it's dumbfounding. It says remake or like thing, but this is, I feel like, far beyond a remake.
Even babes in arms know the tale by heart. In days of yore, thy revered ancestor did receive of the almighty goddess the Spear of Light, and by its power was our world rid of the monstrous menace that beset it. Yet the tales make no mention of any of the hero's bloodline having survived to the present day. Thou truly believest it to be so, that thou art of the line of Erdrick. Praise be! These are glad tidings indeed. But possessest thou proof, perhaps, of this claim? Or are we to believe it based solely on a voice heard in a dream? Thou plainly wearest thy heart on thy sleeve, young man. 'Tis an endearing trait indeed. Mine own line is one intimately entwined with that of the hero of legend. And according to the tales passed down among us, the hero who laid low the lord of the underworld was also guided by a voice heard in dreams.
Majesty, please. It will not do to share the secrets of the royal line so freely.
Calm thyself. Though we lack for proof, I would place my faith in this youngster nonetheless. Better that than lose all hope for the salvation of our united realm.
Yes, Majesty.
Now, young hero, thou too wouldst know the truth of thy bloodline, wouldst thou not? Then hie thee to the cave that doth bear thine ancestors' title, and to the shrine of Rain. Return to me with what thou findest there. This shall be thy reward for aiding my guardsmen. Go forth, brave hero, and may the goddess guide thee.
And some useful items, and puts them in his bags. So no running around the castle at the entrance before, where we get to hunt down stuff. Opening the menu's easy, just give X a press. Cast your mind back. At any time during a conversation, or immediately after it's ended, you can commit what you heard to memory. Anything you've chosen to keep in mind can be revisited by selecting Recall. So you can save conversations so you understand where you're going. That's cool. I mean, if they've added a lot to this game, that'd be great. But all in all, Dragon Warrior 1 was a very short, great game, but short. So really unnecessary. But like, wow, this is insane how different this game is compared to the original so far. So this is definitely going to be probably one of the most intensive parts of the game. And we're still getting good frame rate, so... like, it's not the best at the moment, but I feel like the rest of the game should be a lot smoother. We'll see. Okay, so we do get to run around the castle a little bit. Trying to look at the map and seeing stuff. Can we adjust? Oh, wow, so we can assign shortcuts. The castle looks pretty much the same. Honestly, it's did a really good job of keeping the castle the same. Not bad. Alright, so what we got? Equipment. So we start with the copper sword this time. There's no earning 120 gold to buy one. We already start full leather and copper. Nice, clean, there's new abilities. So they're actually differentiating enemies, beast family. I mean, that is a quite massive compared to thing. I mean, they're adding a lot of stuff to this. Handy heal all. Restore yourself to full health as efficiently as possible. Wow, they outdid themselves on this. Let me tell you. Tactics. Okay, that I'm curious about because normally we would be able to just give ourselves things, show no mercy, fight wisely. So are they going to just be mindless when we get our things? Not sure I like that. So we can use only equipment, so we have like our healing staffs and everything else during battle, which is cool. System settings. Stop adventuring, so we can end at any time. I mean, I get that, but I'm also disappointed. I really like in the originals where it actually, you had to make it to a town and go do the stuff in order to save it, rather than, like, I get what they're doing. They're bringing it on track with every other game out there now that you could just stop at any point and just auto-saving and stuff. But I think that it's a little disappointing. We're not able to swing the map down. So like we have this stuff here, but it's hard to see walls, doorways, and stuff because of the way the camera is. Alright, so we did keep a lot of the stuff there. We still have the room with the chests that should be locked. Yep. Alright. Good, good. Although I'm curious what they're going to start putting in some stuff. Because like I said, they started us with copper and leather. Usually we have a stick and a basic shirt. So like we're starting off already much more powerful than normal. An door be opened by simply any key. Different keys are required to unlock doors of different colors. Okay, so we got the red door. So we got red doors and gray doors. I mean, we have the regular key, the thief key, and the magic key in the game. Let's go check out a little bit of stuff before we head out. Alright. So far, it's an oaken club. We got the sword. Why do we need a club for? It's kind of cool that they did keep... Oop, wrong button. Are kind of the core of Dragon Warrior, but they also made it to where we don't have to use it. And as we know, that's one of the things that I find that one quality of life thing I've always wanted on these games is the ability to not have to use it, because it is such a time sink. Where here, yeah, see, there's no search anymore, no open or anything. This is just our inventory menu, more so than anything else at this point. But what takes the fun out of it, I think, as well, is so far it seems like it'll tell you when you can search something. And I don't think... Yeah, see? So you just walk around stuff, and when it says search, oh, you found it. Rather than exploring and testing out to see what you can search and find and everything else. So I think that is a little disappointing in regards to being like more of a kind of, I don't want to say a hardcore gamer, but more of the true kind of old school RPG gamer, where finding, the hidden treasures in bookshelves and stuff, where this is so easy to find now because you just walk by stuff and it goes, oh, hey, it's right there. But I do see that they're really making this as for more generalized audience, trying to get more people into the franchise, make it more, so to speak, accessible to everybody to just get in there and start playing. which I appreciate and it's decent. The one thing I feel like at this point is we don't have to do much in town because normally we would try to equip ourselves a bit before we leave town. But we're already equipped. Alright, so we can run. I mean, it is a very beautiful game now. Like, it is insane how much this game changed. Well, be it for better or for worse, which we will get to at the end of the video. But all in all, like, it is a gorgeous game. I'm curious as to how combat and the overworld's going to be. How much real exploration is going to be required on here, or desired. If we're going to get a lot of... beyond each breach, more... yeah, we... I mean, it is nice that they have somebody to say that. You didn't really... I mean, you should have known on the first one, on the other ones, but they didn't really ever tell you, and then you crossed a bridge and got your ass handed to you. Always good. So it's kind of funny to... They're letting us know now, right? Alright, we're getting a little slow down here, and I don't know why. Alright, let's get... maybe trying to render all the... Which is really weird, because we rendered the entire castle, and it was fine. Yeah, we get out of that area. I guess there's something weird going over there. So we're just going to leave. Get out to the main hub of the game. And we will see how it plays on the main menu. Luckily, even at like 10 frames a second, it's still... Other than kind of the music a bit, it's not terrible. Alright, let's see what they have to offer. I mean, at this point, what are we striving for? The Copper Sword usually is something we're trying to get early on. Wow, we already got the Divine Dagger. Copper Sword is still roughly the 120 to 180. We got an Oaken Club, Leather Shield we already have. So yeah, it's funny, we got plain clothes and leather suit. I mean, a bunch of stuff that we're pretty much never going to bother with. Oaken Clubs, I like that they still put it in there for nostalgia, just to kind of, you know, it's a broad thing, not just catering to you, but to everybody. But anyways, we are geared out and we're good to go. So let's leave town and see what we have. Wow, look at that. If you feel a bit lost, press Y to look at your map. It'll show you current locations and give you an idea of your surroundings. Alright. Traveler's Tips. A great collection of useful information can be found in the base menu. If your controls aren't quite sure how to get in an adventure. Alright. Well, let's wander around and see what combat's like. Ooh, there's something shiny. Let's go see what something shiny is. Alright, combats. Ghost already. Let's see, we got a really clean AI on the, or UI on this. Alright, so let's just attack. Ghosts are usually something we find later on in the game. Not usually early on. But I guess we are starting off pretty decked out. I don't like that we don't really see our... there's something about seeing your character, even though it was light on the original. This feels like the old Wii Dragon Warrior game where you actually were the character. We are already leveled up. The very first guy, we're already leveled up. That's funny. Alright, so... I mean, honestly, we could have probably started on the harder difficulty, knowing what we know now about how the game is. I like the level up system. Alright, so we're already saving. I want to get to the shiny. Arlen obtained a set of plain clothes, an oak club. Okay, that kind of stuff was never in the original, that's for sure. We never found random stuff. We never had a very nifty movable map. Alright, so we're going over there. I want to see a dungeon before we end this. Yeah, unfortunately with the recording software and everything else, it is slowing the game down a bit, and I apologize for that. I like the sound effects. There's a lot to really like about the game. Because, yeah, when I tested it out for a short minute, we had pretty steady 25 to 30 frames a second. And here we're dropping a lot lower because I think, honestly, so much stuff is running on the PC that we're just not getting the performance out that we would like to. So bear with me while I try to at least get into a dungeon just to see what it's like, and then we'll end the video there. We're getting a lot of enemies that we don't really see until a bit later on in the game, starting off. We haven't even seen a slime yet, but we've seen the butterflies, and we've seen some of the mages and stuff. But I mean, definitely just a crazy change. Oh, we got more shiny. What we got here? Edric's Hollow, Chapel. Alright, cool. Yep, we're going to the Hollow. But we're going to go... It's kind of interesting that we just have little shiny things. Hey, our first slime! Which is supposed to usually be the very first enemy you fight for a good while. But now they're not even a thing because we're too overly equipped for them. A Chimera Wing already. Wayfarer's clothes. Again, we got Wayfarer's clothes, but we're wearing leather, so we picked up a lot of stuff that's very unnecessary. 2 mages. Wow, and we got different fight levels. Okay. So we can put the battle on ultra fast. I like that. We can just kind of still enjoy the battle, but without the long drawn out. I love the death animations. Ooh, we are getting whooped. Oof. I don't think we picked up any healing items. That's not good. Okay, the other thing I'm going to see. Usually, Dragon Warrior, you did level up and heal completely when you leveled up. And we got heal. So, the game heard and game delivered. Alright. Alright. So, yeah, we fully heal up on level up. Which sometimes you plan that out on the originals where you'd be like, alright, hopefully we can get there. And you're trying to level up without using heals because you're like so close. Alright, we're going to attack Draki first. They're a more deadly foe than the butterflies are. They cast spells and everything. Yeah, I like the speeding up. I like that, and I love that you can choose how you want to fight throughout all the time. If you got an enemy that you want to watch, you can do more there. Alright, let's see what a dungeon looks like. All kinds of icons can pop up next to characters' names in battle, which symbolize temporary change in the attributes. Alright, you can store all kinds of objects in your seemingly bottomless bags. Now, in the original, you can only carry a very few items. That said, you won't be able to rummage through the item or equipment bags while in a fight, no matter how neatly you pack. In short, if you think you'll need call on something in battle, keep it on your person. Interesting. Alright, so we have maps of the level. I mean, very cool, honestly. We've got some random people here. I girdy up thy loins. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's good stuff. The writing, man, the writing. Did he really fall for her? Oh, look, behind you. Really? Did they literally just jump or run? Alright, enchanted parchments adorn the wisdom that allow their readers to learn new spells and abilities. However, reader be warned, one can read them only once before they crumble to dust. So in other words, choose who learns what. We're going to check this place out just a little bit. We're running okay. Like, normally I would check all these things, but like I said, it does kind of affect how everything plays. Wow, alright, so first things first is the Babel we're taking out. Because they poison. Alright, next we take out the Drakis because they cast. They do a little fireball at times. Yeah, slimes are slimes. Like, they are zero worrisome. Yeah, honestly, given what I've seen here, putting it on the hard difficulty level is probably the way to go. I was not expecting the immense changes that this game gave you. Alright, let's see. I wonder how many levels this is. Because obviously this is way different than original. What is that? It's a dragon scale. We're already picking up dragon scales? Because I kind of want to get to the boss real quick. Because, yeah, like, this game is... Being on normal difficulty is very easy, unfortunately. But, I mean, I think that works perfect. It's really good for pretty much everybody else. I couldn't imagine how, like, just disappointing the easy would be. It'd be perfect for little kids, but, like, anybody else, I feel like it'd be too easy. Hey. I like, also, another thing that I'm noticing is, which is pretty nice, instead of doing just what they used to do, where there's three different versions of the same enemy, and it was just colored differently. And that was a trick in so many RPGs back in the day. On pretty much every RPG on NES did the exact same thing, just to keep the sizing small. You know, you can keep the same sprite work, but change the color, and it's a completely different enemy. So I like that all the enemies have actually been changed completely, to where even though the one version of it is... Vial of magic water, huh? Hey, medical herbs. We got 2 of them. So we do have mini medals. They didn't start until, I want to say 3, but possibly 2, where they did the mini medals. So they're adding some stuff from previous, or from later on games into this one. We are running a lot smoother now. Because, yeah, ghosts and spirits were the same sprite. Now they're different. Alright, we saw a chesticle over here, didn't we? I believe we saw a chest. Yeah, there's a chesticle right there. Ooh, shiny. So many treasure chests. Alright, do we get to fight a boss? I hope we fight a boss. I'm curious on what they're going to do. If they're going to change any kind of anything. Yeah, see, the ghosts and sprites, completely different. Oof.
Not today.
Not today! Ah, no experience. No level up. Alright, let's go. Items. Item bag. We're gonna medical herb ourselves. Alright, one herb will do it, huh? Nice. Alright, so let's head over here. If you would reach the evil island visible from shore, you will require 3 sacred artifacts. And just a little underhandedness. Does anything change, or are we going to do the same thing again? I feel like, yeah, I was going to say, I feel like we're going to do something else. Ah, it's bright. What is recall? Oh, okay. That's right. That's what that is. All right, miscellaneous. What we got? Let's look at what we got. I'm curious what it says. Autosaving, running, main menu, shops, sense of maps, sparkly spots. All right. Shortcut commands, item tactics, info, defeat monsters list. Nice. Item list, equipment list. So we literally have like all the collecting things, spells, abilities. Alright, so then on the right we do have learn more about Eric and the strange voice, learn what you can do about the strange voice heard. So that is our objectives that we have. Is there anything else? Okay, so we can fast forward if we oopsie. Alright. But the light doesn't do us any good. I don't think we can use the Chimera Wing in dungeons. Normally you can't. We're going to test it out anyways. Because why not? That's what we're here for, right? I guess we can. Usually we hit our head. Like when you try to do this in reality, you go to fly, you bump your head, and you land back down, and it doesn't let you do it. But let's see what happens here. Okay, just portalsless. Okay, so 2 cents worth now. Now that we've gotten to played a little bit of it, I mean, a remake is an understatement. First, I want to say if you like RPGs and especially some of the classics, before you honestly play this one, I highly, highly, highly want to recommend, with no uncertain terms, to go back and play the original NES version of this game. So you can get the feel of what the true essence of the game actually was. Because when you play this one, honestly, it feels like a absolutely, completely different game than the original. Like, to call this Dragon Warrior 1 is honestly just in name alone and basic story. Because so far, every single thing about this game has been revamped, rechanged, and redone. Now, don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing. I mean, honestly, once you play the original, come back and really get into playing this one. I mean, the game is so dramatically different that they're almost like playing different games. But honestly, you need to go back to the classic first. Enjoy the originalness of Dragon Warrior. It's only like a 12 to 15 hour game, maybe 25 if you're really slow or don't really understand RPGs a lot, but it's not a very complex or long game. So going back and playing that one first is highly recommended before you do this one. Now that being said, like this is I mean, there's something to be said about how wonderful this game is. Like every single thing about this game is different, it's changed. I mean, not only is obviously it's a more beautiful game, but we're going from NES to the Switch, so I mean, there's no comparison there. But like the stuff that they did, they changed the quality of life, they added things, they really revamped everything for a more modern audience. Because I don't think a lot of people can really appreciate what RPGs used to be. I go back to Final Fantasy VII, honestly ruining more so than helping out modern RPGs in all of gaming, to be completely honest. they made it to where it's more visually stunning than the gameplay. When if you go back to all the old school RPGs on the NES, the Dragon Warrior 1, 2, and 3, the first two Final Fantasies, and then the rest were on Super NES. But all of them were still in the exact same thing, where the Super NES and NES versions of the games, or not even the versions, but just the reiterations of the games, all pretty much played the same. They all felt the same. They all kind of had that look, feel, grittiness to them. But that was true. It was all about storytelling and world development and so much that went into it. More so than graphically. Now, Final Fantasy VII came along and just completely, honestly, I really still to this day feel like ruined a lot of modern RPGs and gaming in general, because everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Oh, it was so beautiful. But the game sucked so much. There was so little soul or heart or anything in it. Where this one, honestly, it still retains a lot of what made Dragon Warrior, which is why I truly have loved this IP, where it pains me to say how much I have stopped with the whole Final Fantasy thing as a whole, because they just, I get that Final Fantasy likes to try to reinvent themselves every game, try new things, but they're not trying to do things that really make the game better. I think they're just jumping on what's currently the it thing. Like the more recent Final Fantasy is all about kind of the action-y combat, but it becomes so drev and boring and just flashy with no substance. And that's why I couldn't even, I bought it, I was excited for it, I got part of the way through and got bored as hell, as you could see in my live playthroughs. I haven't bothered to touch that game since, and I'm just not happy with it. Where this one, I actually want to jump into and play this game more. So honestly, this has more of the heart and soul. The Dragon Warrior games, throughout all the systems, all the reiterations, has stayed true to their games. No matter how they kind of change some stuff up, everything has been really, really kind of on par for what it is. And it maintains a wonderful IP. And this just goes to show, even though this is supposed to be Dragon Warrior 1, which it kind of is, but is so much more, it appears. And it looks like we probably are going to be having multiple characters in this one, where when you go back and play the first one, you're playing as your single entity. You're going through by yourself, beating the game as just a lone hero throughout this. They didn't add the companions until later on. So they're kind of, I feel like they're combining a lot of elements from them into this one to completely revamp, remake. I mean, it definitely remake, like I said, is an understatement, because there's enough of the heart and soul of Dragon Warrior 1 here, but there is so much more of lots of it. And given the fact that, the IP is so true to form throughout all of its iterations, that it works. It can see these. That's one of the things I love about it, is that they can take bits and pieces of all their other ones, put it into the first one, and it still flows very naturally because of the way they have developed their IP. That all their games, even though they're different and everything else, they're still fundamentally the same and well done. And that's why I love this and have truly loved this, more so than more of the newer Final Fantasies that you couldn't get into because of the way it just didn't work and everything was just so kind of whatever. So honestly, this is a great game. And if you don't really want to go back and play the original as it's intended, which I highly, again, can't state enough how much I would recommend doing that. But this is just a wonderful game that I probably could not recommend enough to actually sit and enjoy. This really appears to be a very fun, well done. This is a really good game to honestly get into the genre, even if you're not familiar with it, not used to it. I think this is a really good jumping in point right here, honestly. It's not going to be as harder to learn, understand, and get into as the NES version, so to speak, because this one helps hold your hand a little bit more. There's a lot more user friendliness to it, where the original, albeit kind of short and for veterans not as hard, but it was a very difficult game where you actually had to go out and try to figure out and find hidden items throughout the game that you needed to actually get to beat the boss. And it was just a well done intro to the IP, and it just was well done. This one holds your hand a little bit more, is a lot more vibrant. It's very user friendly. So all in all, again, go out, play the first one. I would say play the second one as well, but it's not really as necessary, and it's a much longer game. So you're not gonna, it's gonna be a little harder to do. Like I said, the first one is a shorter game and can allow you to experience the whole of the IP right off the bat, and then you can jump into more of these hand-holdy, pretty, more vibrant, more fun-esque gameplay as opposed to the NES versions of it. But honestly, play the original, come back, enjoy this one. It's going to be probably still enough different of an experience that you can play them both almost back to back and still feel like you got something out of it. And what it appears here is, honestly, if you're an RPG fan, if you're even remotely okay with it, don't go with the medium, go on hard mode, because apparently this one is really, like, the middle feels very easy, so I couldn't even imagine what the easy mode of this game would be. But honestly, like, very well done. The remake is just artful. It's kind of funny, like I was mentioning earlier, the use of very, very, stereotypical Old English kind of stuff going on is great. The dialogue is a lot of fun, and it's not even like that in any of the other ones. It's kind of how they hammed it up. But all in all, the game, very well done. I will jump into Dragon Quest II next week. We'll keep back on track and follow up, and then next week I will jump into, see if I can alter the game a little bit to run smoother when I'm recording. So all in all, thank you so much for joining. I hope this helps for the people that was asking about it. And until next time, you guys have a great one. See you later.